The movie starts with two high school students riding a bicycle. They move through the fields, and the boy keeps looking back at the girl with concern, but smiles when he sees that she is happy and calm. Their ride suddenly stops when they see young Suk, a tough and scary girl who has a crush on the boy. She also notices them and gets annoyed seeing him with another girl, but decides to ignore it. Next, young Suk walks toward a group of girls from another school. It looks like they are about to fight. The leaders from both groups step forward to face each other. Young Suk moves to the front, and the other leader does the same. As they stand face to face, they get distracted by the couple riding away on the bicycle. Annoyed, Young Suk insults the boy's face. This makes the other leader angry, and she punches Young Suk. But Young Suk fights back and knocks her out quickly. After that, both groups start fighting each other. Then, the male lead Chung Gil and his classmates are on a train returning from a field trip. On the train, he sees his friend getting slapped by a girl for being a pervert. Feeling bad, Chung Gil gives his friend advice on how to avoid getting slapped. He says to place the back of your hand on the girl's face. Then turn it so your palm touches her hand. He says this simple and intense touch will make her slowly fall for you. Chung Gil's friends quickly believe his method to win a girl's heart and decide to try it someday. Then Chung Gil makes a bet with his two friends. He takes an eggplant, and they play rock, paper, scissors. The loser has to complete the bet. The scene ends with the three of them playing the game. The loser is the same friend who got slapped earlier for being a pervert. Since he lost, he has to walk to the end of the train with a cucumber inside his pants. This catches the attention of all the students on the train, who watch the embarrassing situation. When they reach the end of the train, the friend takes out the cucumber and shows it to everyone. He moves it around and accidentally throws it toward a teacher sitting nearby. The teacher gets shocked and starts screaming after seeing it. Another teacher from the next room comes to check what is happening. As he opens the door, Chung Gil gets pushed and falls onto the screaming teacher. Seeing this, the male teacher gets angry and punishes all three friends. As all the students get off the train, they walk past the three friends. Among them are the female teacher that Chung Gil fell on, as well as Young Suk and her friend. In the classroom, Chung Gil and his classmates listen as their teacher complains about a girl who keeps running on the school track. He then talks about a student who got into trouble and warns everyone to stay out of trouble. After that, the teacher begins a lesson on sex education, which makes the class very interested. At the same time, Young Suk and her classmates are also having a sex education lesson. However, Young Suk is not interested and falls asleep during the class. In the next scene, Chung Gil acts charming and helps a female student with her task. After finishing, which involves pouring water from a teapot, he invites her to have dinner with him at a hotel at a specific time. Later, the girl's two classmates come to her and ask what Chung Gil said. She avoids answering them. They warn her not to fall for Chung Gil, saying that getting involved with him can be risky. Later that night, the female student meets Chung Gil at the hotel he invited her to. She tells him that she is not an easy girl. Chung Gil responds by talking about their past when they were in the same class. He remembers small details about her, which surprises her. Because of this, she slowly lowers her guard. She blushes, becomes shy, and even gets a headache. Their meeting ends, and they leave the hotel room together. However, Chung Gil's mood changes when he sees his bully, Guangsik. Guangsik starts hitting him, but stops when he is told that Young Suk wants to see him. Guangsik goes to the hotel room where Young Suk is waiting and sits across from her. She asks why he keeps bothering Chung Gil. Guangsik admits that Chung Gil caused his sister to run away after breaking up with her, and she has been missing since then. That is why he hates Chung Gil. Later, Chung Gil meets the same girl outside and lies to her, saying Guangsik was just taking care of him and nothing serious happened. They go to watch a movie together. During the movie, Chung Gil keeps flirting with her. He puts his hand on her thigh and touches her face, which makes the girl feel uncomfortable and nervous. After eating at the hotel with her friends, Young Suk returns home and finds customers there. She waits until they leave, then goes inside. Even though it is late, she quietly cooks a small meal for a regular customer without speaking, and then goes to her bedroom. In her room, Young Suk looks at a small geometry compass that she has kept for a long time. She gently holds it and remembers the past connected to it. At the same time, Chung Gil is in his room. He takes out a hidden photo of Young Suk and her classmates. On the back, there are outlines of each girl with their names. He fills in the outline of the girl he went on a date with and writes her name. The next morning, Chung Gil's family is visited by their kind neighbor. She brings them fruits to thank Chung Gil's father for helping with her farm. It is clear that she likes him, as she blushes when he notices the new hairpin she is wearing. Chung Gil is in his bedroom, dancing around without wearing underwear and admiring himself. He hears his father talking to the mailman about a package. He quickly runs outside, struggling to put on his pants to get it. At school, he shows his two friends what is inside the package. It is from his uncle who lives in Brazil, and his friends are amazed by the items. Suddenly, a student runs in and tells everyone about a new transfer student from Seoul, saying she is more beautiful than the prettiest girls in school. Hearing this, all the students rush out to see her, except Chung Gil, who stays behind to read the postcard from his uncle. Unlike the others, Chung Gil takes his time. He slowly walks to the classroom where the new student is and sees her sitting alone, eating her lunch. He smiles when he sees her, but keeps walking. At the same time, Young Suk, who is in the same class as the transfer student, watches her from behind while eating. She clearly does not like the new student. In the next scene, Young Suk walks confidently past her classmates. All the girls bow their heads and greet her nervously as she passes by. She enters a small restaurant and meets Chung Gil, her crush. Unlike her, he is not happy to see her and starts complaining as soon as he sees her. It is clear he does not want to be with her at that moment. Young Suk mentions the rumor that he seduced a girl to his base, which is an abandoned room in a warehouse. Chung Gil acts confident when he hears this, but becomes unsure when Young Suk asks why he is not trying to seduce her. To end the conversation, she stands up, leans toward him, and tells him to meet her at his base at 8 p.m. Later that night, Young Suk dresses nicely in a dress and checks her makeup while waiting at the base. She gets happy when she hears footsteps, but feels disappointed when it is not Chung Gil. Instead, his friend arrives and says Chung Gil had an emergency and sent him to give the message. As she walks toward the door, the friend stops her and touches her inappropriately. This makes Young Suk angry, and she beats him up badly. The next day at school, Chung Gil's friend shows up with a bruised face and injured head. However, Chung Gil only asks about the new transfer student from Seoul. He even asks his friend to help him get close to her. But the teacher interrupts and punishes Chung Gil in front of the class for his poor grades. Later, the school is returning from another trip by train. During the ride, Chung Gil's friends share details about the new transfer student. Her name is So-hye, which means rain in Korean. After hearing this, one of his friends jokingly asks if it is raining and looks out the window. After the train stops, Gwang-sik gets into a fight with one of Chung-gil's classmates because they are enemies. When the fight ends, Chung-gil is about to leave, but turns around and sees Young-suk behind him. He tells her that he didn't meet her the night before because he is not interested in her that way, and because he is afraid of Gwang-sik, who sees Young-suk as his. He says, "This thing between us is not love. It's a threat," which hurts Young-suk and makes her clench her fists. Suddenly, Gwang-sik appears, angry and jealous after seeing them together. He punches Chung-gil in the stomach as a warning to stay away from Young-suk. At school, Chung-gil keeps thinking about So-hee. During physical education class, he notices that she is sitting alone. While her class is outside, he asks his friend to sneak into her classroom and put an invitation in her desk. It is an invitation to the same hotel he went to before. He plans to meet her that night and get to know her. So-hee reads the invitation, but does not seem very interested. Meanwhile, Young-suk secretly looks at the invitation from behind So-hee and becomes angry that Chung-gil invited So-hee, but not her. Later that evening, Young-suk goes to meet Chung-gil instead of So-hee, which disappoints him. When he says he likes So-hee because she is beautiful, Young-suk gets angry and leaves the hotel. The next morning at school, Chung-gil and his two friends watch the girl who always runs on the track. They try to guess why she keeps running. While watching, they notice So-hee sitting alone on a bench. Chung-gil takes the chance to approach her and tries his usual flirting methods, hoping they will work. However, So-hee feels uncomfortable, annoyed, and disturbed, and she walks away. Later, the school goes on a field trip to a campsite. So-hee spends time alone painting. The scene builds up as if she is creating something amazing, but her painting turns out to be unimpressive. After that, the students organize a small talent show at the campsite. Some students perform on stage. They also convince their two teachers to sing a duet. After the performance, the students cheer and ask them to kiss, but the teachers refuse. Next, So-hee goes on stage and sings. Her performance is simple, but Chung-gil tries to make it more interesting by adding random sounds and moving around behind her to show support. This annoys Young-suk, so she goes on stage with her group to perform. They dance while Soo-young sings, but the performance does not get the reaction she expected. Many people are unimpressed, and Chung-gil seems especially bothered by it. That evening, Chung-gil returns home and finds his brother there, receiving all the attention from their father and grandmother. The next day, they hold a party for his brother, but Chung-gil spends time with his two friends instead. His father gets angry at him for not celebrating properly and for talking back, but Chung-gil walks away. Young-suk, who comes to deliver something, sees this argument. The next day at school, Chung-gil's friend Hwang-kyu is forced to tell Young-suk what Chung-gil likes. She buys him a new pair of sneakers. At first, Chung-gil pretends he does not want them, but when she says she will take them back, he quickly makes an excuse so he can keep them. Young-suk realizes he actually likes the gift. However, Gwang-sik later steals the sneakers and walks away with them. After school, it starts raining heavily, and students run home. Chung-gil finds So-hee alone and opens his umbrella, thinking she will walk home. Instead, a car comes to pick her up, and she leaves. Feeling upset, Chung-gil gives his umbrella to Young-suk, who arrives just after So-hee leaves, and then walks away alone in the rain. Chung-gil's efforts to win So-hee's heart keep failing, because Young-suk often ruins his plans and takes the gifts he buys for So-hee. When he sees So-hee feeding rabbits, he secretly gets those rabbits for her. She accepts them without knowing who gave them. At the same time, Young-suk sees Gwang-sik wearing the sneakers she bought for Chung-gil and gets angry because they were not meant for him. The next day, the classes of Young-suk, Chung-gil, and So-hee go to a farm. Suddenly, So-hee starts screaming in panic, which alarms everyone. Chung-gil quickly runs to help her. It turns out she was scared because a leech was stuck on her leg. Chung-gil removes it and then sucks the blood from her leg, thinking it might be harmful. He does this in front of everyone, including students and teachers, shocking them all. Among everyone, Young-suk is the most upset as she watches this happen. Later, So-hee goes to a clinic to get treatment. By the time she leaves, it is dark, and she feels nervous walking alone. Chung-gil comes up behind her with his bicycle and offers her a ride, but she refuses. He then rides past her, using the light on his bicycle to quietly help her see the way. Since So-hee refuses to ride with Chung-gil, he stops every few minutes and uses his bicycle light to guide her so she knows which way to go. Because of this, she safely reaches the bus stop and goes home. Meanwhile, Young-suk's female teacher and Chung-gil's male teacher secretly meet in her room. She talks about Chung-gil's bold act of helping So-hee and compares it to someone who wouldn't dare do such a thing. They then discuss their secret relationship, which they have to hide from students. The female teacher feels tired of hiding and wishes she could openly show her love, even trying to kiss him. The next day, Chung-gil and So-hee meet at a restaurant. She gives him a harmonica as a thank you gift for helping her. He feels happy and calls it a popular item from Seoul. He suggests different places they can go, but So-hee rejects all of them. When she suggests roller skating, he agrees and takes her to an empty pool where the floor is smooth enough to skate. At first, So-hee is not impressed, but she soon starts enjoying herself. Chung-gil keeps falling and pretends he knows how to skate, which makes the moment fun. Later, they go to town to eat. While walking, they pass by Young-suk, who is working at her mother's restaurant. She sees them together, but says nothing, and her expression clearly shows that she is hurt. So-hee asks Chung-gil if it is true that Young-suk likes him. He replies, "Don't say something so scary like that," and claims it is just a rumor with no truth. Meanwhile, Young-suk, back at the restaurant, finally lets out her feelings and cries after seeing Chung-gil with So-hee. Later, Chung-gil and So-hee eat at a hotel where he orders black bean noodles, the same dish he usually orders for girls he tries to impress. After eating, he tries to flirt by placing his hand on her thigh. This makes So-hee upset, and she calls him a pervert before walking away, disappointed after realizing his true intentions. Before leaving, she also criticizes his pants. Chung-gil throws away the pants, but his father likes them and keeps them. Chung-gil feels down after what happened. At school, he even cries in class, which surprises his friends, while So-hee ignores him. At the same time, Gwang-sik and Young-suk sit together near a bonfire. Gwang-sik suggests that they should get closer, but Young-suk does not seem interested. He assumes it is because of another guy and says he is willing to hurt that person so that Young-suk will be his. In the classroom, Young-suk confronts So-hee after finding a pack of cigarettes in her pouch. She is shocked that So-hee smokes even though she has asthma and laughs in disbelief. Annoyed, So-hee asks Young-suk to talk and they go to the girls' restroom. Young-suk's friends try to follow, but she tells them to leave, saying she can handle it alone. Inside, So-hee calls Young-suk troublesome, and they start fighting. A crowd gathers outside and watches, but Chung-gil arrives and stops them. He wrongly accuses Young-suk of tearing So-hee's clothes and takes So-hee out of the restroom. Later, the principal calls So-hee's father and Young-suk's mother to discuss the fight, but they end up arguing instead. Frustrated, Young-suk runs out, collects her things from the classroom, and leaves the school. As she walks away, Chung-gil watches her and thinks about her behavior. Young-suk goes back to her village and remembers her past with Chung-gil. They were childhood friends and classmates. She recalls a time when Chung-gil gave her his compass so she would not get in trouble for not having one. Because of this, he got scolded later, but he stayed strong and told her he was fine. Young-suk still keeps Chung-gil's compass and looks at it often. With nowhere else to go, she goes to his base. His two friends find her there and warn Chung-gil not to go, but he goes anyway. He talks with Young-suk and tries to cheer her up. He notices her injured and pale face, but she tells him not to worry. Since she doesn't want to go home, he lets her stay at his base for the night. They talk about graduation and college, then about their childhood. It is revealed that Chung-gil used to have good grades and was not a flirt, while Young-suk often copied his homework and struggled in studies. Chung-gil asks her to rest while he leaves, but he comes back with medicine because he is worried. While she is lying down on books, he replaces them with a pillow, which wakes her up. They look at each other for a moment, and he leans in to kiss her. However, they stop when they hear a window crack and see a harmonica on the floor. Chung-gil realizes So-hee threw it and runs after her, but she pushes him away and leaves angrily after seeing them together. Young-suk decides to leave the base and go home. On the way, she meets Gwang-sik. He asks where she was and if she met Chung-gil. She says yes, and even hints that something happened between them, which makes Gwang-sik angry. She walks away without reacting to his anger. The next morning at school, Gwang-sik and his group come to confront Chung-gil. The leader of Chung-gil's school tries to talk to Gwang-sik, but he ignores him and asks for Chung-gil. He accuses Chung-gil of touching Young-suk, and the girl Chung-gil was with earlier claims she saw it. Since it does not involve him, the leader tells everyone to go back, leaving Chung-gil alone without support, even from his friends. His friends inform Young-suk that Chung-gil is in danger, so she comes to help him. She stops Gwang-sik and threatens him, allowing Chung-gil to escape with only minor injuries. Later, Young-suk walks home with Chung-gil, but he does not want her help and tries to avoid her. She stops him by showing the compass and asks if he remembers it. She reminds him of their past, and he admits he has not forgotten. Young-suk apologizes for what happened earlier and starts to leave, but Chung-gil asks why she likes him. She says she understood her feelings only after she started liking him. Chung-gil then confesses that he once had feelings for her too, but he gave up because he thought his father had a relationship with her mother. Young-suk feels disappointed that he gave up so easily, while she kept holding on to her feelings. Chung-gil then remembers his childhood. He met his father for the first time when he was in elementary school, after being raised by his grandmother. On that day, he also learned that his mother would not return. This made him angry and confused, and he started distancing himself from Young-suk. In the present, his relationship with his father still remains distant. While Chung-gil waits outside So-hee's house, she gets kidnapped by Gwang-sik and his group. Gwang-sik says that since Chung-gil touched his girl, he will do the same to Chung-gil's girlfriend. At the same time, the two teachers finish watching a movie and hide in an alley to avoid being seen by students. They start getting close, but stop when they hear a girl screaming nearby. They follow the sound and find So-hee surrounded by Gwang-sik and his friends. The group runs away when they see the teachers. The teachers help So-hee and take her home. Chung-gil hides when he sees this, then goes to meet So-hee after they leave. When he approaches her, So-hee slaps him hard, making his nose bleed. She tells him that if he wants to keep dating her, he must kill Gwang-sik. That night, Chung-gil takes a small pocket knife and goes to find Gwang-sik. He tries to attack him secretly, but gets caught. He cannot bring himself to stab him, so Gwang-sik beats him badly. Chung-gil returns home with injuries, but instead of giving up, he becomes more determined. He starts practicing fighting moves and trains himself, hitting a punching bag as if it is Gwang-sik to prepare for their next fight. Young-suk looks at a train ticket that will take her to Seoul, but Gwang-sik comes to see her. He asks if she ever liked him, even a little, and she says she never did. Disappointed, he leaves and meets Young-suk's former friend, who had already told him the truth. He joins her side, and she gathers her group to attack Young-suk. Even then, Young-suk stays calm and says, "Let's finish this quickly." Meanwhile, Chung-gil goes to the pool, where Gwang-sik and his friends usually hang out, and challenges him to a fight. Surprisingly, Gwang-sik refuses. He says they don't need to fight as long as Chung-gil stays away from So-hee. What Chung-gil doesn't know is that Gwang-sik has decided to target Young-suk instead to get his revenge. That night, Chung-gil comes home injured again after angering Gwang-sik by talking about his sister. His father scolds him for always coming home late and hurt. He also speaks badly about the photo of Chung-gil's mother, which makes Chung-gil angry. He blames his father for her leaving, but his brother explains that their mother chose to leave on her own and abandoned the family. The next day on the train, Chung-gil's friends tell him about the fight Young-suk was in and how she did not fight back because she was protecting him. At first, he doesn't think much of it. But when Gwang-sik later asks him, "What does she like about you to make her step down from her place?" Chung-gil realizes the sacrifice Young-suk made for him. He finally understands why Gwang-sik didn't fight him earlier, because he chose to hurt Young-suk instead. After realizing everything, Chung-gil goes to fight Gwang-sik for what he did to Young-suk. They fight on a moving train until Gwang-sik threatens to throw Chung-gil into the river below. Chung-gil dares him to do it, but at the last moment, he grabs Gwang-sik so that they both fall into the river together. They later wash up on the shore, unconscious. Chung-gil wakes up first and goes to look for Young-suk. He runs through the town, crying, but finds out she has already left for Seoul. He breaks down completely after learning this. Meanwhile, Young-suk waits at the bus station to leave. In her letter to Chung-gil, she explains that she is not running away. She says that except for him, she never had any dreams, but now she wants to find her own path. She tells him to follow his dreams too, study hard, and believes that he can do it. After reading the letter, Chung-gil continues to cry, knowing she is gone. The next day at school, the teacher invites the class to his wedding and leaves them alone. Chung-gil finds an invitation from So-hee asking to meet at the same hotel, but he chooses not to go. He also returns the harmonica she gave him. Chung-gil's uncle returns home from Brazil and brings his future wife with him. She is a bit chubby, and Chung-gil is not very impressed at first. His uncle gives him advice about women, saying that looks are not everything and that you need to understand a person's heart. The story then shifts to young Suk, who is now working in a factory in Seoul. While she is doing her job, Chung-gil suddenly arrives to see her. He is dressed nicely and brings flowers, catching everyone's attention. When he finds her, he gives her the flowers and shows her the compass he got back after she threw it away. They walk out of the factory together, and Chung-gil carries her in his arms. In the end, they lean toward each other and share a warm kiss.